made out a birth certificate and about one big pain, and that was it. Aunt Kathy was there, but the reason she hadn't come was because of cord was wrapped around her neck.
Oh.
And she was almost black when she was born. If I hadn't had a country doctor, I wouldn't have had Kathleen.
Wow.
Another interesting one was when Aunt Ann was born. I'd putted around all day one day on the 24th of July, and nothing had happened, and I went to bed, and then about, I'll imagine, 5 o'clock or so in the morning, I had to hurry up and get to the hospital. And I got in there, and the nurse says she wanted to stop and prep me and everything, and I said, "You better get me to the labor room." "Oh, you're not ready yet." Well, I said, "I haven't had, I don't know how many children." I told her, "For nothing, I know when I'm ready." And boy, she wheeled me fast into that labor room and went to call the doctor, and had Grandpa holding the baby.
Oh my word. Wow.
And he said, "Next time I won't even stop to put on his necktie."
Wow.
But she was kind of a young, inexperienced nurse, and she never did come back into the room.
Huh.
But anyway, Aunt Ann was healthy and strong, and everything was fine. But anyway, Grandpa got to deliver one baby.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where are some of the places that you lived? Were you pretty much in just a few places during your life, or did you move around?
Kind of backing up a little bit on the courtship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was still in school, and Grandpa was teaching in Lyman. And my cousin Eva Burton was teaching in Reliance, which is just out of Rock Springs,
Mm-hmm.
Waconia town there. And so she wanted Grandpa to take her to a special dance they were having. And he refused to take her. He wouldn't take her to the dance because he was going to be true blue to me. All the time I was going with her fiance there in Laramie. He was, well, he'd walk me home from church, and he took me to some nice dances, and we had a good time together. Kind of made me feel like a traitor.
So what did Grandpa say when you told him that story?
Oh, I don't remember what he told me, but he knew I was going with John, but John was a good friend. He isn't the kind I'd ever marry. He was one of these kind that like to talk about himself all the time. He was one of these big shots, you know. He was kind of fun to go with. And I was never a deserted father for him. But I did grow up on a farm, and I didn't really have a lot of close friends. In those days, we walked wherever we went, and we'd invite people to come out while they'd have to walk out. I mean, if my friends came out, they'd have to walk out. So I never really developed a lot of close friends in high school or in school.
Were the farm that you lived on, did most people have similar sized farms? I mean,
Yes.
Was that part of the reason that, because there was quite a bit of distance between homes too? Or?
Yeah, that was part of it. Well, my father acquired that farm during when they had I think they called it the Farmers Homestead Act.
Mm-hmm.
And if you live on a piece of property, 160 acres, and improve it, well, they give it to you.
Hmm.
And so my father got on this piece of land, and then he heard that one of his neighbors was going to jump his claim. So he had to hustle to Kemmer, Wyoming. That's the county seat, which is 50 miles away. And he got there ahead of this other man, so he was able to save the farm.
Wow.
But that was interesting, I thought.
Huh.
But we had a lot of sheep and cows. One time my father went with these boys on a fathers and sons outing. The only time I ever remember going on one. I don't suppose he's gone on more than a couple of days, I guess, but he left Aunt Esther and me to milk the cows. And I can't remember if Aunt Catherine helped her or not, but maybe he had cows to milk and the chickens to feed and the pigs to slaughter. Then somebody'd come and take them with a wagon and haul them up to the creamery. That's when I first started my piano lessons, organ lessons it really was. I'd ride up on the milk wagon with my father. And my first grade teacher was Mrs. Barstow. And her mother taught piano lessons, and Mrs. Horton taught piano lessons. And so I would ride up with my father, and he'd drop me off there and then go deliver the milk and come back and get me. So I took piano lessons in the summer, but I didn't take a lot of lessons. They cost about 50 cents a lesson, I think, something like that. But all I had was a little pump organ. That's what I took my lessons on for a long time. Finally, in high school, we were able. My sister Esther was teaching school by then, and she was generous with her money and bought us a little piano. And I was sure a great treat, and I got to take piano lessons. They had group piano lessons in high school. And when my teacher was gone, I was happened to be absent. I used to substitute teaching for her when I was in high school, which was very interesting. Then I was an organist all my life in one organization or another. I started when I was in primary, and then I was in the Sunday school, and I was ward organist, and I was stake organist, young man's, young Stockbridge organist, mutual.
Did you ever get tired of that calling?
That's the best calling in the church for me. I love to play the organ. And I was stake organist for 17 years. During that time, I was raising my family. I was sitting on the front row up in front so I could keep an eye on them. They're pretty good kids. Pretty good children.
Did you play the organ too when you were a temple missionary?
I did a time or two. When we had a Christmas party, our whole conference came into Los Angeles for a Christmas party. I played the organ for the singing then. Sister Pettit, who wrote music to I'm a Child of God, she was living in our ward at that time. And she came to our conference that night, the evening session of our missionary conference. She told us a story of that. She said that music came to her in a dream one night. She got up and wrote it down, but there was part of it she couldn't remember. So she went into her closet the next night, asked the Lord if He'd reveal that last part to her that she had forgotten. And so He gave that music to her. During that conference, they sang that I'm a Child of God in several different languages to her. She died shortly after that. I enjoyed that story.
It's a beautiful story.
But I played the piano for Relief Society in most all the wards we were in. I don't know if I was organist or Relief Society organist, or at the time I was ward organist. And when we moved to Salt Lake, I was assistant Relief Society organist. Well, I just played the piano for that. And I did play the organ a few times for sacrament meeting, so I've been organist a long time. And my greatest love was to accompany Father Grandpa. And I accompanied Joseph Fielding Smith came to our state conference once. in the Star Valley, and Jesse Evans Smith was a beautiful soloist. And she gave me a piece of music to play, and she listened to me. I guess she heard me play for the morning session. But it wasn't during the morning session, come to think about it, she wanted to know if I'd play accompany her.
Huh.
And it was a song that I was familiar, thank goodness, I was familiar with it. Then she gave me another piece to sing, and so she was gonna sing in the afternoon. So she gave me another piece, so I got to accompany her twice. I thought that was kind of nice.
Wow. That's neat.
Then there was a sister Annie Hood who was, I suppose at one time in her earlier days, she must have been quite a beautiful singer, and she still was, even though she was older. But she wouldn't sing unless I could accompany her. And I thought that was kind of a feather in my cap.
That's right.
When I was about 14 years old, I sang in the stake choir, and we learned a musical called The Vision, a cantata, oratorio or whatever, probably an oratorio, called The Vision, written by Evan Stevens. And he came up and conducted the performance for us in Afton. And that was in the Tabernacle before we did it. Where they took up the balcony and everything.
Right.
So I've got a lot of experiences. I belonged to the Kama chorus for many, many years. That was a woman's chorus. I sang it part of the time and accompanied most of the time on that. But I was never a hand to want to get out and do solos, piano solos. But I enjoyed being a accompanist. Played for many, 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 many funerals. Went to the funeral one day and discovered they didn't have anybody there playing the organ, so I just
Hopped up.
just popped up and took over.
That's great.
But my father and my brothers and sister, they all sang. And Esther is older than me. She's the oldest in the family. And then there are three boys, Uncle Winfield and Uncle Stuart and Uncle Richard, before I came along. I always thought maybe they spoiled me just a little bit after three boys. I kind of thought my father favored me just a little bit. Maybe that's just putting the big head on me. But anyway, then Aunt Catherine was next. I got a picture there of my two sisters, three sisters. There's three of us still living. I got a picture today. I left it there so you could see.
Good.
But my Aunt Catherine's husband has been dead for about 3 years, I think. Grandpa's been gone for 11. And Aunt Renee's husband just passed away in April. And I went out to the viewing, but I didn't try to go to the funeral. It was an odd one. But
You all outlived your husbands there, huh?
we've all outlived our husbands. Yeah, so they came into Salt Lake. My sister, Minerva, her daughter was Vera. And Vera picked up Aunt Catherine and Donald and came into Salt Lake. We got together for lunch one day. It's the first time we've three been together for several years.
Now, when did your first sibling die? How long ago was that?
Oh, my last baby was a stillborn baby.
No, I mean your one of your brothers.
Oh, Uncle Richard died first. Uncle Richard was always strong and healthy, and then he got pneumonia. And they took him to the hospital. And it was in that days when they were experimenting with sulfa drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave him some sulfa drugs. And I was talking with my doctor about it later. He said he thought that's what caused this quick pneumonia. And he was gone within a week.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
He died in 19.
long time ago.
He's been dead for a long time. But, just can't quite get that day in my mind. Let's see, Uncle Wayne was born in 47. So this was in 48 that he died, I guess. 1948. So
He died real young
a
then.
long time. He just had one boy. It was just too bad he didn't have a bigger family, but I don't know, had a bad heart. We'd always thought that she'd go first.
Hmm.
It was such a shock to all of us. But because I was so far along in my pregnancy, why the doctor advised me not to try to come to Ogden for the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't come down for it. But she said after he died, he came to her and held her in his arms. It was just a real good big.
Hmm.
And then one night, she got to see him in a dream.
Hmm.
And he was just teaching the gospel, and he just turned and smiled at her.
Hmm.
So I'm sure he did missionary work.
Hmm.
He served a mission in the southern states under
The Grand Richards, or?
I was going to say the Grand Richards, but I think it was Samuel Benyon, I think it was Samuel Benyon.
Hmm.
But he was a good missionary, and he loved missionary work. He was always active in the church. He sure makes you grateful for the gospel when you know that there is a life after and that people are aware of what's going on here. A while ago, about a couple of years ago, Aunt Mary was down, and they were down this Provo, Aunt Mary and Uncle Dom and their family in Provo. And they decided to go to a show one night. And they had a car accident. And he went to the hospital, took the boys to the hospital. 3 of the boys were involved in it. So when Grandpa came to her, he said, "Everything's going to be all right. I'm aware of everything that's going on."
Hmm.
I think he's sent some of his choice spirits to us. Or do you feel that way? He probably gets the interview before he comes out.
So is that in a dream that she had that night or something?
Well, this wasn't a dream. She was just there in the hospital there waiting to know what happened. But they were just diagnosing, checking the boys over. For a while after that, while Benjamin's been having seizures. I think it's probably part of it was caused by the traumatic experience. I guess part of it might be, I don't know. But he's doing better than he was, but he still has had some problems. He's still on medication. But he's not going to let it get him down. He gets plays ball and does everything just like he would ordinarily. But the kind of sleep is one that you're listening to him.
Hmm. So how is it when your when your brother died? How does things change? I guess as you look at people dying. I mean, now you've probably seen most of the friends that you grew up with are probably gone. Does it get easier the older you get, or to say goodbye to these friends and?
I don't know that it gets easier or not, but I was really happy when it was starting.
Okay. It's still rolling here.
That's your tape on the floor there, isn't it?
No.
And this is Dan.
I think I just got in there.
Okay. I think we're going again.
Uncle Stuart was a widower for several years. And then had passed away. He was living alone on the farm. Well, no, he was living alone in one house, and his son Alma, who was a widower, was living in a house right by it. And Uncle Stuart got so he was getting arthritis, and he was getting older, and it was hard for him to get around. He got to the point where he felt like he just couldn't help Alma anymore.
So for him, it was a blessing.
And so they took him out. One of his daughters came and took him out to Rexburg to a nursing home out there. And he died shortly after. I really felt happy when he died. Well, when Uncle Winfield died, why, it was a blessing too. He'd been having strokes for several years. And, you know, doctors don't really do the right thing in some cases. He had a big farm, and he loved to get out and work with his animals and work on the farm. And the doctor said, don't let him do anything. Just about drove him nuts. Very kind of critical of the church. He was in a bishopric, and Grandpa had to release him from a bishopric, which made him pretty upset. So I was glad that he could go too.
Huh. What were when Grandfather Winters died, I was on my mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I just entered the MTC, and I didn't know anything was wrong really. And then all of a sudden, a month and a half later, he had died. I mean, what was? Were
Well,
you pretty sure he was going to die? I mean,
he had been fanning. About a year before that, when Benjamin was born, and Anne, the baby, was born, and it seemed like it was one of the babies born the same year. And I said, I've just got to get down and see Mary and her baby before winter sets in. So we made that trip down there. And sometime during the year, I don't remember the relationship on time, but sometime during the year when he was wakened one night, and there was a person in the room dressed all in white, big long hair, and she kind of pointed to me. And Father felt like maybe she was coming to get me to take me. But he kept failing all the time after that. And so I guess she just came to warn him. I really feel like probably it was our baby, Joanna. Had come and this warning that she was going to come and get him. But he just went down kind of gradually, but he was doing pretty good until just about a month before he died. Thank goodness he didn't have to suffer long. His blessing told him he'd be taken in the twinkling of an eye, and comparatively speaking, it was twinkling of an eye.
yeah. It really was.
So it was nice. He was in a coma for about 5 days, and just gradually quit breathing, and that was it. So there wasn't any struggle or anything like that. By the way, in this last end sign, there's an article called "Pray for Me to Die." And it's a story of Father's Aunt Lizzie Winters Tuller, and how her daughter Christy took care of her during the last few years of her life. I think you'd enjoy reading.
Oh yeah, I'll have to read that.
He teaches seminary, or has been. I don't know. He's probably retired. I don't know if he's retired yet or not, but he's been in the seminary system for a long time. Her husband Bob has been. I know by the names that that's who it was, because that was called Aunt Lizzie Nan instead of Grandma. They called her Nan. Oh my!
Then Sunday's that.
But those are some of my spiritual experiences. I should, another one I could tell you. Before Grandpa was released as state president, why, we're supposed to have had a change in state patriarchs, needed a new patriarch in that state, star by state. And they came up thinking that he was going to, the general authority that came was going to install a new state patriarch.
Uh-huh.
And he left it out. And I was kind of thinking about that one morning as I was clearing up the table, and all of a sudden something said, your husband's going to be the next patriarch.
Huh.
You know, it just came to me, just made me stop in the middle of the floor. It was such a spiritual experience. And President Monson came up to release him as state president, and he stayed with us that night. He came out to the kitchen the next morning while I was preparing breakfast, and Grandpa was in the study working on his talk, I presume. And President Monson came out and he said, thought I'd come out and tell you that I'm calling your husband to be the new patriarch. I said, yes, I've known it for a long time. And he said, I'm not surprised. But I didn't ever tell Grandpa that, you know, what the premonition was or what experience I'd had until afterwards. But that was a special spiritual blessing.
Do you remember when you first gained the testimony of the church, or do you remember, or was it just kind of a gradual thing that evolved over time?
Well, I was attending church, and my father was real active in the church. We always went to our meetings, and there was no special time when I've had a great experience in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been gradually building up all the time. I've always felt as I read the Book of Mormon that it was true. Sometimes when I've been reading, I can feel it stronger than others, of course, but I always felt that it was true, and I know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But for any really special experience on that, I didn't have one. But I know when I went to college, my parents gave me a triple combination. After that time, I had never read the Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I didn't read it until afterwards. But I wish I had it done, because I lived with a non-member, and she was really a lovely girl, really good standards and everything. But we talked religion some, and I went to her church once with her, and shame to say I fell asleep in the sermon. But we had a good friendship, and I just found out about her as she was, and who she'd married. I got track of her a while ago and wrote to her.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of a neat experience.
Well, that's neat. So did she write back too? And
Yeah, she wrote back to me. Mm-hmm.
wow.
So she is still living.
Has her husband passed away, or
No, he's still living.
still living too?
Mm-hmm. They live on the farm
That's neat.
in Wyoming.
Huh.
Richard and I, we had quite a lot of experiences together. He was just older than me. And he didn't like the farm. He hated to go out and milk cows. And he seemed to think I ought to help him carry his books home from school. We didn't have any book bags like you have nowadays.
Right.
We used to walk to school, and it was 2 miles that went around to the road. But it was 1.5 miles if we cut through the fields. Mel was ringing a bell, that a big bell in the tower. It would ring at 8:30. And again 15 minutes later, and we had to be on our way by 8:30. And we had to jump ditches and crawl through fences. But we had a dog by the name of Rover that used to walk with us to school and back again.
What did the dog do during the day? Just
Oh, she'd come back home.
oh, she'd go back home and come back.
Yeah, that's no trip for a dog. guess.
Yeah, but the time, to memorize what time it was to,
Yeah, but she'd come to meet us. She didn't really meet us at the schoolhouse. She'd
oh, okay.
just come to meet us when she see us coming. But she disappeared once, and we always thought maybe she got poisoned. 'Cause some of the neighbors weren't too happy with us walking through their fields. But it was nice. But Uncle Richard and I, we used to. My father would go to the go to the canyon in the wintertime. I remember him coming home on this load of logs that he got and cut down, and the icicles would be dripping off of his face, and the animals, and the horses, I mean. It'd be cold, a bitter cold. He wore a bearskin coat. It helped to keep him warm, but he'd swing his arms back and forth across his body to keep himself warmed up.
Hmm.
There were several of the pioneers that lost their lives trying to get logs down. Snow slides come down on them and cover them up.
Hmm.
But my father was always glad to see him return home safely. We'd get the logs home, and then like Richard and I, we'd have to saw them into blocks of wood so they'd fit into the stove. We'd have to chop the blocks to make them smaller ones for the smaller ones for the kitchen stove. We could just use big blocks in the front room where we had our heater. And this saw that we used was a big saw. And it had a handle on each end. Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind we used to cut the blocks, and we'd chop our wood and gather the kindling. So we'd have to fill the wood boxes. It was a job to keep the wood boxes filled. And when I Glenville was a little boy, he was supposed to fill the wood box, and he didn't want to do it. And he had a cousin named Dixon Burton, and he said, his mother said, well, Dixon fills wood box for his mother. We'll get Dixon to come and do it, he said. Well, I guess he must have finally filled it, I don't know.
Pretty good response.
Children are pretty smart,
Yeah.
aren't they?
That's right.
They really come back with some cute answers. One question I always remember about your father asking when he was little, who turns the stars on at night? Yeah. John was a curious one in the family, though. He was always asking questions, just following around, asking questions all the time.
Hmm. Well, I remember he was the first one who showed me, first time I saw a telescope, or looked through a telescope, was
Yeah.
Uncle John's.
Yeah, he bought him a telescope when he was in high school. I saw a nice TV movie on that last night. On the great big telescope, they have those 8-foot,
Mhm.
the 8-foot telescope. They got launched,
Right.
and it was off.
The Hubble
Oh,
telescope.
That's
Uh-huh.
right, the telescope. I watched that. That was very interesting.
Yeah,
They had to go up and repair it because they didn't have it focused quite right.
right. Gave it a pair of glasses, and now it can see just fine.
He lost a screw, dropped a screw. He was afraid he wasn't going to be able to find it. But he happened to catch it.
Hmm.
It was most interesting. Kind of beyond my comprehension, a lot of it, but
It's amazing what they do.
yeah. When Uncle John went down to Glendale, Arizona, to teach school down there, he teaches in the community college there.
And that's the telescope he actually showed us.
That's a telescope.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't have any building that he could use for it to teach his classes in. And so they let him construct his own building. And where they put it on the end of the football field.
Hmm.
So when the lights were on, I couldn't use it. Anyway, he had a portable ceiling you could pull back and forth.
I don't remember that. I just remember being very young, looking through that telescope and thinking it was
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, if you like those kind of things.
And your last daughter, Joanne, you
Mhm.
named her Joanne.
Mhm.
How long before she was born? Did you have a pretty good idea that she was going to be stillborn? Did you not feel her
No.
moving? Or
No, I was hemorrhaging so badly that the doctor said it was a matter of either saving me or saving the baby. Because they had to bring her slowly in the birth canal, and she died in the birth canal. But that was another interesting experience. All along, we kind of kidded about her being our tithing baby. The Lord took us at His word. And I never thought about that He would do that.
Hmm.
So we had better be careful what we say, I guess.
Did you have a funeral for her and everything, or?
I didn't go to the funeral they had. They just had a short graveside service for her.
Mhm.
She was born in January, so it was too cold. I don't think they had a funeral. I don't remember one, but anyway, I didn't go to it in those days. They kept us in bed for a couple of weeks.
So she buried up in Star Valley?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Aunt Kathy and Uncle Larry, well, we got the loss from my father and mother. They're buried on the whole lot. And Uncle Larry and Aunt Kathy now, they had taken the rest of the lots there.
Hmm.
Left a space for me. That's a beautiful place to be buried in. It's a beautiful cemetery.
So Grandpa, when she appeared to him, she had long hair and
Yeah.
but he just thought he had a strong feeling that it was her. Huh?
Well, no, he didn't say that, but that's what
That's what
I'm
you-
thinking.
That's what you're feeling.
Mhm.
Did
When Aunt Anne's baby died, Emily
Mm-hmm.
died by Aunt Anne's. I'm so God's blood is over there. When we went to see Aunt Anne's baby, after she was born, my grandpa lingered a long time and kept going back in and looking at that baby again. And I don't know why he had to come and get her, but he did. But it was a comfort to Aunt Anne to know Mother was there.
How soon after grandfather died? Did she die well? Was it just a year after?
No, she died about a year after he died.
So what Aunt Anne talked, she told you that she was very glad that grandfather was on the other side.
Yeah. That was a hard thing to go through. I don't know, Aunt Anne seems to have handled it really well.
Oh, she's a remarkable person.
I was with her one day and she backed out the garage and ran over a cat. I'm sure she just kind of let out a moan and jumped out of the car and go tell the children what she had done. But she was ready to handle that situation well, I thought. And,
Now, Emily, was she behind the neighbor's car?
no, it was their own car.
Or was their own car?
she'd have the children over, and they'd gone over to the library and check out some books, I think it was. Or else they came to get some books to take to the library. And she parked the car on the driveway, and the children got out. And we got her a little tricycle. And the car just kind of rolled.
Did the kids get in the car and were playing with it?
Yeah, the two little boys, David and Nathan, did. They kept running out and said, Mom, you're going to have to get another baby. And David had seizures for quite a while after that. I think that might have caused it. But he's gone over that now, it seems like. But she's doing very well now. Before she died, the night before she died, Uncle Michael said he thinks that she knew she was going to go.
He wants it over.
He got up in the night, and he just hugged. She just hugged him and hugged him. And several days, I can't remember some of the other things, but there were several indications that made him feel that it was her time to go. But she knew it was going to happen. Well, I didn't intend to sit down and cry.
So I was on my mission, so I didn't hear the whole story
Yeah.
about
That was their own driveway.
sad.
Since she had to
The poor little boys.
just devastated to them. It was especially hard on Rebecca. Rebecca was such a little mother to her little brothers. But I guess the Lord had a special plan for her, I don't know. Just that week while they had decided to move their grave, they had purchased a grave spot, a burial spot, Uncle Michael and Aunt Ann. And they decided to get one closer to their home. And they just changed and got into a different plot. And as Mike was missing a few little things that need to be done, and they got those all done. It just seemed like they were kind of preparing for something. They didn't know what. I didn't ever hear Uncle Michael give her any criticism on her or anything. He was real kind about it. They got her, they airflied her to Salt Lake, to the hospital there, but she died. Which is a blessing. If a car hits you on the head, why, it's a lot better.
Did Grandpa talk much about spiritual feelings that he had, or besides this one, or?
No, I can't think of any.
But this one where the woman appeared in white,
He said she was wearing
and that wasn't a dream, it was just,
it was real.
what was the setting?
It was in Idaho Falls when we were in bed that night. And he got up and looked all around the house and couldn't find anybody. So I kind of felt like, somebody on the other side.
And it was in the room there, just.
Never been in there, and I don't follow.
And she didn't say anything, she just pointed.
She just pointed at me. And so he thought, well, I guess, when he hugged me in the night, he told me what happened, and hugged me and held me for a while, thinking that I was one that was going to be taken. But I'm glad I went first, because he'd have had a tough, but he wasn't any cook. Wanted to do the laundry. He wasn't very domesticated in that line. Thought it was good that he could go first, but I think it's about time he came for me.
Well, if I talked your ear off yet, or?
I was trying to think of something else.
Hello, Beth. Hi.
Look at you, Daniel. I did it.
You did it.
I did.
Did you guys have a fun day today?
Yeah.
Is this gonna be fun?
Yeah.
You like to fly kites, huh?
Do you know what? Alan has a pretty kite.
Does he?
Uh-huh.
Alan, do you think the Delta will go up?
Look at him fly the kite.
He's flying kite.
But the wind is good. I can't believe it. I thought, this is funny. Is it always windy? Oh, it is? Okay, and see, last week and the week before we had all this 6 much. They've got the first.
That one's pretty big, so you need to.
We went.
You need to just put it into the ground.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it stays up in the air.
That is one hot kite there.
Do you like that, Daniel?
That's so fun.
Do you like that one? What color?
His wing.
Alan? It's pink and.
And back.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it over here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Daniel. What are you doing tonight?
They're flying kite.
Are you flying kites? Is this fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty night, isn't it? It is pretty. Yes. Beautiful day today.
Most of the skiing is going to take place in Park City and also an hour north of us in Ogden Canyon. Thankfully.
This is for you, for people who want to come to ski. And
Yeah. That's the system that we have.
Jacob, look at Daddy. Look at ski trails are so extensive. Look at Daddy.
I'm curious exactly where we do ski around here. Every inch of what you're looking at.
Wow. This looks way harder than I wanted.
It becomes less and less steep as we get more and more snow.
Daddy,
Hi, Daddy.
what's up here?
The mountain.
The mountains. What else is up here?
Snow. Snow.
Snow. Yes.
Okay.
Should we look at the
Here.
mountains?
Ball.
Rebecca, Daddy,
Snow right here.
did you put it in my film in my camera?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Jacob.
He likes this.
This is fun.
Is it in your pocket?
Gee.
Are you having fun up there?
Yes.
Has LA ever had snow?
It's my first time with snow.
See me. I think we have snow a couple times. Yeah, that's pretty unique for being there for so many years. I would imagine where we're at now.
Okay.
And they get it like in the
Daddy,
desert,
go!
in Valencia.
I'm taking a picture of you.
It's not directly north. It's
Hey, you guys, what you doing?
Rainbow.
okay.
Are you throwing snowballs?
She's still pregnant. You see that it's amazing. You can tell. Yes, you can tell.
So is Zachary all bundled, Jen?
Yep.
Is he asleep?
Yep.
Wow.
She really is here.
Yep, there he is.
Back one though, because that's easier on you, isn't it? Just really achy. Okay, Pam, get over there with Christine. We'll take a picture. Yeah, we'll take a side view. Do you want to see a head? If we can. I'm not sure.
Jacob.
Well, that was fun. There you go.
I can't get a head out. That's a. Okay, Brandon.
Oh.
I'm worried about him being cold. I think he's the warmest of us all.
More.
Let's put your face down in it.
We've got lots here that we're going to take apart.
There's a for you. That's Vicky. Look at this cake.
My son and his shoes. Kind of bad in him. Wow, I think that's going to make the fire outside. Do it?
Wow, that's happy birthday.
Couldn't see? Doesn't that make you feel old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch out, Brandon.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Christine. Get the fire extinguisher. All right.
Yeah, you build towers with them.
Hi, Daniel.
Yeah, you can build cars and everything.
Are you having fun,
Everything
guys?
I've got is so old. But sit down and tell me what you know.
Nothing. So you need to tell me everything you know.
Things are just wonderful. Yes, you do. You know.
Oh, well, tell me
Are
how.
you starving? Do you want to eat right at 12 or do you want to wait till? Oh, I promised the family I'd call them up when you go.
Okay. Whatever your plan is, I'm sure we could
Well,
eat
we
as
thought
soon.
about 12:30.
Okay, that's great.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yay! You hit it.
Oh, it's so good to see you guys. You haven't
great.
changed a bit.
Nope.
The children want to go see. I thought that it'd be just dumb to go clear out to the quarry because it's just bones. And if they went for the dinosaur, they'd see all day. Oh, I hate that.
We need to for just a few minutes,
Oh,
just for posterity reasons.
oh, anyway.
Careful.
So, should we go down to the quarry or down to the monument? I mean, down to the museum?
Museum.
I think the
And
kids
see
would
the
really like that.
dinosaurs? I think they'd enjoy that
They would.
much, much more.
I think that's true. Daniel's set on seeing a dinosaur tail, he said. He wants to see it.
Yeah, the bones of the dinosaur tail.
We can see some dinosaur bones there too. We'll just go to the movie
Well,
and that'll
you
be
see
much
the bones
closer.
and everything.
Yeah, so where are we gonna have a picnic?
We're gonna have it in David Nelder's backyard. You guys have traveled so much, you'd rather have
That
it in
is
the backyard
great.
than anywhere.
That is great.
So that's
great.
what we decided.
There we go. Do you want
They've
to lie
got a
down?
big backyard and
So most of their kids are in Utah Valley, right? David and Eleanor's. Okay. Where is Ruth Ann? Where's Ruth Ann?
she's in Logan, you know.
Okay.
Is that it?
And Thomas is.
And Thomas is going to school. Logan, he's home now working. I don't
Okay.
know that he'll be able to get home or not.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Oh.
He'll try. He said he'll try.
And okay, so they're both at Utah State. Ruth
Right.
Ann and Thomas.
And Jeffrey's
Jeffrey's-
in Wyoming or Nevada. I can't keep
Somewhere.
track. He's somewhere with the
Doing okay.
digging.
Digging.
I'd like to get a picture of her standing on your head.
Go!
Hey, Beth.
Here, go see Daddy.
Go see him.
Come here, sweet.
Daddy. Go get your toy.
Go on.
Good girl. Okay.
There's something flashing, and I'm wondering if it's because the tape is almost out. What? Okay, come here, Beth. Come here. Okay, this is
Do I just push play or record?
yeah.
Just record and pull it back.
Back on the back, the red button. Just press
Okay.
that. Is it going?
Nope. Do you want to stand up? Oh.
Now we're going.
Okay.
Okay, Beth. This is Beth's newest trick, well, one of her tricks. Okay, smile for Mom.
Hi, Beth. How's my Beth?
Whoa, what are you doing?
How's Beth? Look at you, sweetheart. Congratulations, sweetheart. Can you smile?
Say hi to Mommy.
Sweetheart, Bethy. Hi, sweetie. Can you smile and show me your teeth? Hi, Beth.
Mommy, all 6 of them.
Hi, Beth. We sure love you. Yes, we do. We sure love you.
Say bye-bye.
Beth, one more shot. Okay.
Wood paint.
Coat.
That's what that wood paint.
Do ya?
Because that's what someone told me. I thought,
Going to the circus, huh?
where's the parade? Barney coming?
We had Barney birthday cake. We had Barney pinata. We did the heart on the bar. Ridiculous.
Peekaboo, I'll go get it.
Spencer. Peekaboo.
Just must be parents who aren't spending any time at all with the
Peekaboo.
children.
So he's in.
No, we just have exceptional children.
Spencer? Yeah. I don't know how he picked it up. I think it's just because the kids crossed colors so much.
Sure, come do your show. Alex, come here. Say peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Are you gonna dance?
Peekaboo.
Waiter.
Wow.
Jordan, go in the music room and bring me a bag with your jammies in it. In the room with the piano.
Mother, get on top of me
Is
again.
that that new dance you were doing the other day?
Fly in here.
That's
Show us
Lindsay.
that dance you were doing the other
Show
day.
us that dance you made up. Lindsay. Did you make him a dance? Do it.
How do you do that?
We want to see. How did yours go? Lindsay's one of those. How'd it go? Something with your arm. This is Remember?
Il mio
loving champion.